I, in a very short time, I decided to do the pilgrimage, and in a matter of 3 or 4 weeks, I was on the plane and headed for Santiago.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for having this chat with me. It's a pleasure again for me to have you here talking about the Camino. So let's start for the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about the way you get to know the Camino, why you decided to walk the Camino?
Well, back in early 2013, I got a newsletter from a meditation group here in Canada, and they reviewed the movie by Martin Sheen, The Way.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was also reading a book by the Spanish saint Jose Maria called The Way, the Camino. So in a number of different ways, I was nudged into the direction of doing the Camino. At the time, I was working in Toronto, and my job had finished, and it, with a number of different reasons, it became just the right time to take a break from my world and go to Europe.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. For you, walking the Camino, it's for everybody, but mostly for the people that walk the Camino from France and from the frontier between France and Spain, the French way. It's a million different emotions, different persons, different pilgrims. Each day it's a new day and a new story to tell. There are a lot of stories to share and to be a part of. So for you,
one thing I learned right from day one on the Camino was that every day you're waking up somewhere new, and everywhere you've been, you'll never go back again. So it really makes you appreciate the moment.
So for you, following this, what is the most amazing thing about the Camino de Santiago?
Everybody sort of shares the same mission, and you make instant friendships, and those friendships, they last from a matter of minutes to days to weeks to lifetimes. You realize that it doesn't matter how long the friendship lasts. It's that particular moment in time that you really have to savor and enjoy.
And can you tell us what inspired you to walk the Camino?
Well, I've always been a walker and a hiker, and whenever I get frustrated with life, I go out and walk and walk and walk. As many times I've walked across my city and back again, and just for the sake of walking by yourself. And the Camino is just a very long walk, as Martin Sheen said in his movie. It has a spiritual, everybody does it for their own reasons, but the spiritual part really wasn't the driving force for me.
So on the Camino, we faced different challenge. The Camino for everybody, or for almost everybody, it's always good things, but they are some difficult parts. The physical, some days we feel not so better. So the question is, what was for you the biggest challenge of walking the Camino de Santiago?
My biggest fear is I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I take insulin every day, and That requires I take a needle 5 times a day. So the biggest worry for me is always maintaining my sugar levels as I walk. But it turned out not to be an issue. I just carry on walking. Some days you walk a little slower, some days you walk faster, but you just keep on going. You don't stop. And nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to walk 900 to 800 kilometers. You say, you're crazy. But if you wake up in the morning and you say, I can do 15, 35 kilometers today, that's a doable thing. And after a number of days, you've gone 100, 200 kilometers, and you're already well on your way. When you break it down into little pieces, everything in life is doable.
So, your journey on the Camino left you some good memories, and you as an artist and wrote a book about the Camino. Can we share with us what is your book, or what is about?
Well, when I went on the Camino originally, I wanted to do. I had ideas in my head of doing some drawings and paintings along the way, but it turns out that you don't have the time. You walk all day, the sun's going down, you have to find somewhere to sleep, and you have to have something to eat, you have to do your laundry. There's no time for doing the drawing or painting. So when I got to Pamplona, I took all my art supplies and mailed them back to Canada and decided I'll just take photographs. I took well over 4,000 photographs from Saint Jean to Finisterre. And when I came back, I had more time. I turned them into drawings and paintings. And in the course of doing that, I ended up doing the Camino coloring book.
Amazing.
Which was a chronicle of all my photographs along the way, all the major spots that I crossed and significant events. Everybody who has walked the Camino will recognize every picture in this book. And now I've been sending that as far away as New Zealand and Europe and America and South America. So it's the community of Camino pilgrims is worldwide.
Yeah.
So in that, doing this keeps Camino alive for me daily.
Amazing. If someone can buy your book, it's available on some space online, or
it's available on Etsy.com, ETSY.com, and I ship it worldwide, and it's been going pretty well. Some people, they send me pictures of the drawings, the colorings they've done of it, and it's wonderful to see that people really enjoy the Camino never leaves you, and you can spend 2 or 3 hours coloring. It takes you right back onto the road.
So now, can you share with us some moments or some stories or some experiences that you remember while walking the Camino?
Well, you go through all kinds of emotions, to self-doubt that you can do it, why am I here, and you sort of find your place in the universe. And I know when I reached Pamplona, I was getting over all the trauma that I had left behind in Canada, and it all sort of coalesced in Pamplona. I was sitting there listening to a mass. I just broke up crying for about half an hour, and just the emotions just came over me that I've made new friends. I've stepped away from my reality in North America, and it's very healing to walk the Camino. It just puts everything into perspective. You learn so much about yourself, who you are, and who you really are, and who you aren't. That you've always said you were, but you weren't. You realize who you really are.
It is something like that. Really, it is. So imagine that you can go back to your best moment or best memory on the Camino. What will be?
I guess the best moments are the friends you make along the way. You learn so much from everybody's different life, the pain and the hurt, and everybody comes with some kind of baggage onto the Camino, and they lose it, just like they lose it. They drop the stone at Cruz de Ferro. They drop their stone, and their soul is lighter. But anybody who does the Camino, when they reach Santiago, their soul is lighter. They've learned so much about themselves, and they accept themselves much better.
And what was for you arriving first in Santiago and then later in Finisterre? What was that moment for you, that emotion?
That was a mix, bittersweet, because the closer you get to Santiago, the less you want to get there.
Yeah.
You want to keep on walking. You know that in a couple of days, it's all going to be over. And then what?
Yeah.
So it's like a child. He always pushes the bologna a little bit further and further into their bread, so they always have a little piece of the meat at the end. And the same thing with Santiago. You start to slow down. Just you don't want to get there. You want to extend this trip or this pilgrimage as long as you can.
I don't know, but in my opinion, as a person, and I guess I would like to like, I don't know, do like a walk for 3 months or 4 months walking, or here, I don't know. It's just an idea, but just to be that, just to be a part of something, and to feel the feeling that you still have many days to arrive. Not just like 40 days walking and okay, you are arriving and you have to go home in a few days, and it's a mixed feeling. Do you have any future plans to go back and do the Camino again?
I'd love to do the Camino again, but I don't think I'd do the same one again. If I did, I'd maybe this time I'd start from Paris and go to Saint Jean. But to retrace your steps in the exact same place is usually a disappointment, because you can never go back in life. Life is a one-way highway. Once you try to recreate things, it doesn't work. There's so many things in this world to experience and do, and repeating yourself, just like in art, you'd go crazy if you did the same painting week after week. You have to do something different. You always have to stretch your boundaries, and I get bored very quickly. I have to move on to a new horizon, because there's so much in this world to learn.
Just an idea. If you have, or if you want, please do the Camino Primitivo.
What's that?
The Camino Primitivo, the ancient one. It's a less known Camino that starts. It's around like, I don't know, like 300 miles, I guess, from Oviedo to Santiago.
Yeah.
And it's very, very different from the French Camino. It's nothing like it. And I don't know, for me, doing it was very, very special. And of course, the French way it's already, I don't know, it's very, very crowded, very crowded.
Now I think it's probably too crowded.
Yeah,
When I
and
did mine, the primitive way and the North way weren't as popular yet. Now they're getting all the overflow from the French way.
but for me it was really different because I don't know, just to be alone with myself, with my thoughts, and not having pilgrims passing me, or I pass them like from 15 and 15 meters was something like very special. And they pass like very, very small places, very small houses, amazing mountains. It's a mountain, it's
Yeah.
much
The
mountain.
most memorable moments are usually the ones where you're by yourself.
Definitely, definitely. So
I remember one day I was walking early on in the Camino. I was walking down this country road, and there wasn't a pilgrim to be seen anywhere. Not a pilgrim. And I walked around the bend, and there were a half a dozen deer sunning themselves in the middle of the road. I said, "Isn't this beautiful? It's amazing." But then I realized something's wrong. I'm on the wrong road. Because if the pilgrims were coming through here, the deer wouldn't be standing here.
yeah,
So I walked back a kilometer, and there was a sign. There's a yellow arrow covered by bushes I didn't see. So I turned down the wrong street. But it was the most wonderful hour and a half of walking that I had. It was so peaceful and beautiful. But that was a very private moment.
I understand that, really, really. I understand that. I'm young, but I understand the feeling. I understand the feeling. So, if you have to choose one stage to do it every time, what would be, or which stage?
They're all different, and they all have their purpose. So I don't think it would matter which where if you drop me from a plane anywhere, it wouldn't really matter. I'd enjoy it the whole length.
So we are almost finishing, but before, what would you tell to someone who never walked the Camino?
Go, do it. Doesn't matter where you walk to, just go. If you have even the spark of enthusiasm for it, go for it. Because before you know it, life will take hold and you can't. So you have to make every moment count. If you can, travel, do things. I think the Camino would be a wonderful thing for kids in school to do for 1 year of their learning. Go on a Camino. They would learn so much more about life than calculus or physics will ever do for them.
I don't know. I don't know how it's like that, but I guess in Netherlands, yes. A few years ago, I met a group of students from, and I guess in high school, the last year of high school, they have like this. I guess they can choose between different travel. Something go to volunteer in Germany, something go to Croatia, and part of them choose to walk the Camino de Santiago.
And how do they enjoy it? Did
They enjoy it a lot, and that a lot, really. I keep in touch with some of them. They are like 18 years or so, and two of them, it was really interesting because two of them, they weren't from Netherlands. They were refugees from Syria, and they were walking the Camino de Santiago.
Yeah.
That is special.
What happened in Syria is a crime against humanity.
It is.
I know some people from Syria, and even there's a There's a priest that was, he went missing in 2013, Padre Paolo de Oglio, and I met him in Toronto, and he will be a saint. Once the dust settles, they will make him a saint, because his love for Syria and the love for people was amazing. He was also part of the reason I went on the pilgrimage. I want to trace the path of some saints and live vicariously through them, because there's a Spanish saint, Jose Maria. He found God in Logono, and he worked in Burgos, and he worked in the poor hospitals in Madrid. And I sort of traced his
footsteps,
and I stumbled on all kinds of places he was, because he had to flee across the Pyrenees mountains. So there's so many different elements that come into why people go on a Camino. It's not always straightforward. I went because I need the exercise. No, it's much broader than that. There's so many things in life that tie in to get people to go on this kind of thing.
Do you know, here in Portugal we have something it's not similar to Santiago, it's different, but it's a very known religious pilgrimage to a sanctuary in the middle of Portugal. It's really known around Europe, but it's very different. I never walked, but I had friends, they walked, and I don't know. I don't know if I would like it to do it, because the way of Saint James, the Camino de Santiago, has something different from other Caminos. I guess, like you said, they aren't just different reasons. They are different people, persons from different backgrounds, from different religions, from different status. I don't know. And the Camino, I don't know. I met Muslims. I met Protestants. I met from the church in England. I met many. It's really crowded by Korean people, Chinese people, Japanese people. So people around the world with different religions, different, I don't know, different way of living each life. And the Camino, it's something like embrace ourselves into that. It's different from that this one that are very religious, and I don't know. I never walked, but I don't know if we can get the same feelings or that we get on the Camino.
I think a lot of people don't really understand why they did it until long afterwards. Afterwards, they realize what led them all to it. Because sometimes we're not really in a conscious control of what we do. Our unconscious takes us places that we have to be.
You are telling like the Canadian character on the film. Do you remember the girl on the way?
Oh yeah.
And she was walking to quit smoke, but was much more than that.
It was never about the smoking.
No.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that people don't. They realize that there was something underneath that was driving the whole thing.
It is. So, Stefan, we arrived. We finished. But before I finish recording, thank you so much for doing this with me. It's really a pleasure. And anytime you can, sometimes go back to Spain or France or even Portugal, please let me know. I'll be like to meet you and to do something for you. I don't know, to pay you a beer or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like about the Camino community. It's a community.
It's a community, really.
And in the true sense of the word, it is a community. And I have friends that I met on the Camino, and people I've met through the community on the internet, that countless people that have nothing else in common but the Camino, and we become friends.